Hello guys, today in this video, we are going to help you to find out the best cheap HDMI switchers in market. I made this list based on my personal opinion and I tried to list them based on their quality, durability, customer review and more. If you want to see their price and find out more information about them, you can check our links in the description below. Number 8. Amazon Basics 4K HDMI 3-port switch. Amazon Basics typically delivers a decent generic product for a fair price. However, the Amazon Basics 4K HDMI 3-port switch isn't a great value for what you get. It only accepts 4K at 30 Hz signals, which is too low for most modern consoles. It also can't process HDR or Dolby Vision signals, limiting it to outputting SDR content only. This switch is decent enough for a 1080p SDR screen, but for the price, you might as well buy one that can handle 4K at 60 Hz for future-proofing. Despite the decent construction aside from the remote, this is an outdated product that will hamstring many 4K TVs. The only reason to grab this switch over others is if you find it on sale. Otherwise, it's best to choose from one of the more capable products on our list. Number 7. Scare HDMI 2.0 Switch Splitter 3-port for HDMI. This Scare HDMI 2.0 switch is surprisingly capable for the price. It's in the lower range of 4K at 60 Hz switches on the market, but it supports HDR, Dolby Vision, and Atmos, and it's powered by micro USB. However, it is missing some features that tech aficionados may be looking for, which might deter some potential buyers. This switch offers automatic input selection, which can be hit or miss on these products. Unfortunately, there's no way to turn this feature off, per port or otherwise. This makes it practically unusable with some devices, like PCs and laptops, that constantly trigger the auto switch function. There are also no EDID toggles to help troubleshoot incompatibilities between devices. On the upside, the construction is fairly robust. The chassis is made out of some sort of pot metal, if I had to guess, but it's robust enough to stand up to the typical rigors of sitting in an entertainment center. The remote is also of decent quality, but there are some reports that it's keyed to the same frequency as some TV remotes, which may cause issues for some. This product has been reviewed 4,990 times and received 4.3 out of 5 stars on Amazon. This is working well for me with an Xbox and a Nintendo Switch. Seems well built and easy to operate, said a reviewer who awarded this switcher 4 out of 5 stars. Number 6. Videolinks 3x1 HDMI switch box. This switch from Videolinks is one of the few unpowered models that works with HDMI 2.0 4K at 60 Hz signals. As such, it has a smaller footprint, which is its primary advantage over the competition. However, this switch has some shortcomings of which potential buyers should be aware. It can only be switched manually, which requires users to physically walk to the device and press a button, negating most of the convenience this type of device offers. It also draws power from HDMI, which is unsupported by the standard, so if all 4 HDMI sockets aren't occupied, it may not function as desired. Unfortunately, without automatic switching or remote functionality, this device is more of a niche product. It's great for those who don't foresee the need to change inputs often, but lacks compared to the powered 4K switches on the list. This HDMI switcher currently has a 4.3 out of 5 star rating on Amazon, based on 2,171 reviews. Definitely a great little device and a terrific value for the price, said a reviewer. Number 5. Fariza 4x2 HDMI Matrix Switch. The Fariza 4XW HDMI Matrix is a bit more complex than other products on this list. It features 4 inputs and 2 outputs, which give users the option to use the device as a switch, a splitter, or a combination of the two. It also includes optical and 3.5mm audio out, making it a more versatile device than a standard splitter. These options do come with caveats. It's more expensive than a standard switch, and those that don't regularly need to output video to two different displays won't find a need for the extra features. It's also limited to the same resolution and frame rate on both outputs, so you can only use the splitter functionality on two screens with similar specifications. Lastly, if you want 4K at 60Hz, HDR, Dolby Vision, or Atmos support, you'll need to spend a bit more money. This Farisa HDMI matrix is limited to HDMI 1.4b and maxes out at 4K at 30Hz. This HDMI switcher has been reviewed 962 times and received 4.4 out of 5 stars on Amazon. A reviewer who awarded it 5 out of 5 stars said, "I am extremely pleased with the performance of this switch. It not only solves the problems of the cheap switch I bought, but it outperforms my old switch as well. The box is dang near perfect so far. I cannot find anything wrong with it, and there is a whole lot right with it." Number 4. Skycrop HD HD0501 HDMI Switch 5-port upgraded. This 4x1 switcher from Skycrop HD is fully HDMI 2.0 compatible. It accepts and outputs 4K at 60Hz signals with HDR, Dolby Vision, and Dolby Atmos, and supports the full 18 gigabits per second required by the HDMI 2.0 standard. We're unsure what the upgraded in the product name means, but it performed without issues and was one of the better switches on the list. One of our favorite hidden features is that automatic switching can be enabled or disabled by holding the switch button on the unit for 5 seconds. Turning off this function is not available on every switcher on this list, which can be a significant source of frustration. Like many switches on the list, the remote is the weakest point. Its construction is a bit more robust than usual, but it's still best replaced by a universal remote. The product currently has a 4.4 out of 5 rating on Amazon, based on 290 reviews. A reviewer who gave it 4 out of 5 stars said, "While the auto switching isn't perfect, it does work with most things." Number 3. Univivi 7-port HDMI switch, QPTHG246. This 7-input switch from Univivi is one of the more expensive options on our list. Still, it's worth the premium if you have a ton of devices you want to connect to your TV. Because of all the inputs, it's a long device, coming in at 9 inches wide. However, it's still relatively low profile at less than an inch tall, so it'll easily tuck on top of another component without looking out of place. HDR, Dolby Vision, and 4K at 60Hz are all possible with this HDMI 2.0 compatible device. The only mixed bag with the Univivi switch is that it lacks automatic switching. That's great for those who have devices that display issues with auto switching. However, with 7 available ports, it could be frustrating to some to have to change inputs each time manually. This HDMI switcher currently has 4.3 out of 5 rating on Amazon based on 741 reviews. If you plan to hook up any 4K 60Hz with HDMI 2.0 and HDC 2.2, you need this box, said one reviewer who awarded the product 5 out of 5 stars. Number 2. Fosman 5-port HDMI switcher, HD8205. The Fosman 5x1 HDMI 2.0 switch is one of the more unique of its type available. Instead of a long, rectangular, metal body, it takes the form of a small, plastic, black square. While it still needs to be powered via micro USB, it retains the small form factor seen with most unpowered switches. Since this is a smaller switch, especially for a 5x1 model, users must mount an IR sensor via a wire. While this makes for a more complex install process, it also allows you to hide the switch behind your TV or entertainment center, distinguishing it from its peers. The plastic shell means this switch is a bit less durable than some of the other 4K devices on our list, but its compact form factor makes up for it. The remote, of course, is substandard, but as with other switches on this list, you can replace it with something a bit more robust. Number 1. Toto HDMI 4-in-1 switch. Cutting through the switcher chaff to find an affordable product that accepts the latest devices is tough, but this 4x1 unit from Toto fits the bill. It accepts up to 4K at 60 Hz input with HDR or Dolby Vision. It supports an HDMI channel bandwidth of up to 18 gigabits per second, so it'll work with any HDMI 2.0 or older feature. The Toto has automatic switching, with no option to turn it off. However, this isn't as annoying as it is on some models, as this feature only activates when one input is active. This eliminates issues with some devices that switch inputs even though they didn't receive a legitimate HDMI CC power-on signal. Unfortunately, though the unit itself is reasonably robust for the price, the remote is horrible. It's a small plastic rectangle that screams to be immediately broken or lost. So, those who purchase the Toto are best off using a universal remote to control it. Presently, this product has been reviewed 2,157 times and received 4.3 out of 5 stars on Amazon. One who gave this switcher a 5 out of 5 review said, "This is perfect for older TVs with limited HDMI input connections. It also works for connecting just about anything with an HDMI cable to anything with an HDMI input. It works as an HDMI hub and allows you to switch to any of the HDMI inputs on the hub and transmit it to the output or TV. It's visually appealing, compact, and lightweight. I am very happy with this product."